Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talkin Sports on this Monday as we talk Otter boys swimming and diving. And head coach Tom Uvaas, the head coach of the section champion Otters, is with us this morning. Congratulations, Coach, and good morning.
Good morning, Craig. Thank you so much.
Tom, did you guys as coaches, you and Coach Childs and Coach Hartwell, going into the weekend, did you have a real good feeling about the last 2 weeks of preparation, that your guys were ready to go out and perform at this high a level?
Well, I think that swimming-wise, I thought we really looked ready. We did a little bit of different preparing for this particular meet because we realized we have the quality to possibly take a state team there. I think diving is a little bit different because of the, it's so close, and either you're on or else you're off, and so I think that was a little bit more hair-raising, as we call it.
Well, you certainly, the kids went out and performed, when they had to do it. When it was their turn up on the blocks and in the water, they really turned in just a tremendous performance to win by the large margin that you won by. And you really got a great contingency representing the Otters at state.
We really do. I think it's probably one of the best sections I've ever experienced as a coach. And our boys just did a fantastic job. They're so focused, and we made no mistakes, no disqualifications. Everyone got at least one best time of everyone that participated in the meet, and of course the divers just really shined. To have 4 in the top 8 in the whole meet is pretty incredible.
And you have 2 divers heading to state, and that's never happened before, right, for the Otters?
Never happened before. That's amazing. And keep in mind, only 4 divers qualify for state. There's no cut points, to make it to state. It's just the top 4 go to state, period, regardless of whatever the scores are, and we have 2 out of 4.
Well, Michael Osnes has been there before, right? So he's an experienced state participant, and then Kyle Rust, who is a senior, certainly worked hard to get there his final year.
We're so excited for both those boys, and it's always nice when a senior makes it, especially his last year. So, we have great thoughts of just of gratitude, or I should say, smiling inside about Kyle's great performance.
Well, what about their opportunities at state, Tom? It's like you said, it's kind of hard to predict diving because some days you're on, some days you're off. It depends on the judging a lot. How do you see Michael and Kyle fitting in down there amongst the top in the state?
I think they're going to do great. They really like the venue. Of course, it's one of the best diving venues in the nation. They're used to the boards. They've been there before because, as you said before, Michael was there last year. And, of course, we've gone down there for the maroon and gold, so they're used to the format and the boards and everything else. One nice thing about diving, there are only 16 divers that qualified. There's 4 sections, 4 divers from each section, so they've already scored. They already made the finals, so they can do all 11 dives, which is very nice. I think they're going to do really well. I think it's going to be a great performance for them. I think they'll be more relaxed there because now they're there. They can just see how far up they can go.
You had 15 best times turned in by your swimmers. You had 2 champions, Joe Kitzman of the 100 fly, Cal Moritzen of the 200 IM. Let's start with those 2 young men, and they are young men for you, sophomores on this team. And Joe set a pool record both days. Yeah,
Joe's just a treat to watch. He's so smooth in the water, and he has such confidence in his underwater dolphin. And it's really a pretty amazing race in the fly because it's so close. And Joe is willing to hold that long streamline underwater and just pop right up. And he had just really a phenomenal 2 days. It was a 54.0 was in prelims, which is a new pool record. I believe a 53.7 in the finals, which is just fantastic. And then Cal Moritzen, who's a sophomore, is probably one of the smoothest swimmers we've ever seen. He's just so meticulous on his turns. As I was saying to a lot of people, you can qualify first, but to get up on the block and really make that performance and take first place by those 2 young men is really a great accomplishment for them.
And a great indicator to me is a lot of these guys drop time the second day, Tom, and at this point of the season, it's not that easy to do, is it?
No, it really isn't. And to be quite honest with you, we're really hoping that we'll have our best meet at state. especially our relays, we were very measured in our relay starts. We were comfortable taking a second, third, or fourth in our relays or making a state cut time because we didn't want to get disqualification and not make it to the state meet. The first week of the season, we realized that we had a state team, and so we've really been training up for the state meet. And a lot of boys did not shave. We haven't rested them totally, so I think I will be quite surprised they don't drop time. I know they'll drop time, at least the relays for sure, and the individual events, and perform at a high level at the state meet.
Well, I think you guys have this preparation down to a science. You've really done a great job preparing and making sure the practices suited the team, and boy, they're geared up here. I know you're going to have a good showing next week. Your relays, let's talk about the kids who are in those relays, because the 200 medley relay finished in second place, and you've got some, 3 seniors on that team.
Well, we do, and that's part of the state mixture, too, is that we have actually 7 seniors on this team, and we've had just a phenomenal year with all the seniors. But this is a really nice relay. We start with Joe Kissman swimming backstroke, and then we start with Dominic Jones, who, again, had just a phenomenal meet, qualifying both the 1500 breaststroke. And then we go into the butterfly with Andy Sturger, who, again, had a fantastic meet, dropping 4 seconds between our freestyle and qualifying on the fly later on, and as well as another relay. And then I had Jacob Fisher. Now, Jacob hasn't always swam this relay because we've used him in 2 individual events and meets, but we decided to put him in 3 relays and 1 individual event to help us get ready for state, and, again, perform just flawless.
Yeah, and Jake not only is going to be swimming on all 3 relays, but he went in the 100 free too, right?
He did, and he swam a 49, which is a very good pre-taper time or pre-shave time, whatever you want to call it. It was a fast meet. The winner of that particular event swam a 48, which is a very nice time for a section meet, and so I really believe that Jake will have a little bit more to give when he gets to the state tournament on Friday and Saturday.
Talk about the 100 backstroke, if you would. That must have been quite an event with such a big number of individuals qualifying. Yeah,
it's an amazing event. Joe Kissman, again, swam a very solid 56, I believe it was, and is in there. And then Zachary House qualified, and to be quite honest with you, we didn't have the cut time. We had the cut times, but I think we're just so aware of what's happening, and so Zachary's going to state in the backstroke, and we're so happy for him because he's also in the 200 free relay, and just what a great senior as a runner, as a swimmer, and as a dedicated athlete.
You mentioned Dominic Jones qualifying in the 100 breast along with the 50 free, and Cal Moritzen also made it down in the 100 breast.
Yeah, they almost tied. They both did a 102, and they're in lanes right next to each other, and they actually raced that race. They hit the third turn exactly at the same time, and the breakout, and again Dominic just out-touched Cal, but they're both going to state. In that particular event, 10 qualified for a state by cut time, so it shows you how fast the breaststroke was in our section. We had 2 under a minute, which is really, you talk about depth and quality of a section, that's pretty impressive.
And your free relays, the time drops were there from day 1 to day 2 again, and as you said, you haven't even really tapered them yet. That'll come this week, so you have to feel good about the mix you're seeing there from your 2 free relays.
We really do, and Hutch won the 200 free relay, and they are always fantastic in that particular relay, and I think that our 200 freestyle will be a little bit faster. We're going to accent our starts a little bit more, not to take a risk to jump or anything like that, because we want to score in that relay, but at the same time, I think we have just a little bit more to give. The 400 freestyle relay, the same thing. We had 3 boys on that didn't shave, so I think that they'll just drop at least, usually with a shave in 100, you can drop a second, so I think we'll drop a little bit of time there, and our mission basically is have all 3 relays in the top 8 for the finals on Saturday, and have them all score in the top 8 to build some team points.
2 things I thought of right away. First of all, one thing you already mentioned, the 7 seniors, great leadership there, great experience, but also you add to that state championship experience. They were part of that state championship team last year, and I would think that really made a difference also, Tom, in preparing to get back there.
I agree 100%. There's a maturity level on this team which is pretty outstanding, and they have a lot of faith in themselves. again, I go back to the section meet. We swam a very good Friday. Nothing spectacular. I mean, but we swam solid, and we're in good middle lanes, and the kids know exactly what they're doing. And then they come back on Saturday and swim better times, and of course make it to the state. And that was our goal, was to make it to state. We really were not focused on winning a section championship. Matter of fact, I thought we'd be around third because, again, our depth. But again, we didn't realize we were going to have 4 divers in the top 8, which is big points for us. And again, the balance of scoring from the other teams was pretty amazing. So we're very excited and thankful that the section champion is kind of a bonus for us. But I'm just so impressed by how well prepared I think we'll be for state.
Now, where do you see the Otters as a team fitting in at state? If you go out and hit like you did this weekend, do the Otters have a chance to repeat as state champs?
I really don't know. I think that Breck and St. Thomas look a little bit more solid. But I will say this, we are in position. We have enough people qualified. We have 3 relays, and that's really large. And if we can swim solid and get in the top 4 in our relays, anything can happen. We have 2 divers, which is another big factor, and they will all score. And again, if St. Thomas has no divers or Breck, those are points that help us. But I think we got a chance. We always thought we'd have a chance for top 6 in state, and I think we'll be right in the hunt right there. And one little mistake by another team or an illness or whatever, and anything can happen. It is state and it is high school swimming and diving.
Any opportunity, Tom, for an individual champion when you look at the times, especially your 2 section champs, Joe and Cal?
Well, anything can happen. I got to tell you, it's a very tight field, and so if both of them hit, although I think the IM you have to be probably under 2 minutes, so that's a stretch for Cal right now. But again, anything can happen. Joe, the 100 flies wide open. 53 is I would say I haven't even looked at the times. I don't know what lanes we're in, so I'm kind of shooting really from the hip here. But I think that when it's that close, anything can happen. And Joe Kisman has a great gift of hitting his turns, and he has a great finish. I tell you what, if it's close and they're coming down, I would put my money on Joe.
Now, what do you do today, Tom? Do you have a real light workout today after a competitive weekend like that, or do you just get together and talk a little bit and swim a few laps to stay loose, or how do you come off a meet like that?
Well, we basically go back to our first 4 weeks of the season, and we do sets from there. We just kind of reloaded. So we'll get about 4,000 yards in. It'll be a little bit different, but basically it'll be a lot of OD work or over-distance work and not a lot of concentration on times or anything like that. And just to maintain our conditioning, because we really want to be ready for Friday and Saturday. It's a long week. And then Tuesday, we'll start to specialize a little bit more on turns and a little bit more race speed. And then Wednesday and Thursday, of course, Wednesday actually we'll go to the old Cook Hall and swim their own warm-up there and practice there at the University of Minnesota. And then Thursday, of course, we have practice in a large pool to get us ready.
And how many kids will you be taking down total? Do you get alternates going along as well?
Yeah, we're going to take 12. There's a couple reasons for this. First of all, because we have 3 relays, and we actually have some true alternates, and we want to make sure that we, just in case if something happens to anybody on that team, we can make a substitution. Last year, both Mike and Keegan Hurley were kind of sick during the meet, so if something would have happened, we might have had to make a change there, but unfortunately enough, they're able to swim, of course, that Saturday and do so well, but you never know. Swimming is a very grueling sport, physically speaking, and you just never know the health basis. And plus, we have some relays that are very competitive, and we have some kids on the team that can move back and forth. So we're going to take a total of 12.
Coach, thanks so much for sharing with us about a great weekend of swimming, and we wish you a great week of preparation, and hope everything is clicking on the weekend at the U of M Aquatic Center.
Well, again, thank you so much, Craig. I want to thank the community of Fergus Falls, of course, Gary Schuler and Jerry Ness and the whole school system for giving these boys this great opportunity to perform.
Head coach Tom Uvaas of the Otter Boys Swimming and Diving Team, the Section 3A champions with their performance this past weekend in Willmar. Thanks to Tom for joining us on Talkin Sports.